If an avoidant does this, it means they're waiting for you to reach out. Have you ever felt that eerie silence after an avoidant pulls away? When the air feels heavy, their texts vanish, and suddenly you're left wondering if they even care at all? Here's the twist. Sometimes that silence isn't rejection. Sometimes it's their way of waiting for you. Avoidants have a peculiar pattern. They crave closeness, but they fear it at the same time. So when they retreat, it doesn't always mean they've stopped thinking about you. In fact, certain signs show that deep down, they're hoping you'll be the one to bridge the distance. Today, we're going to talk about those subtle yet powerful signs that reveal an avoidant is silently waiting for you to reach out, even if they'll never admit it. First, let's talk about their pretend peace. After a conflict or emotional disconnect, the avoidant often acts like they're fine. They'll post pictures online, throw themselves into work, or appear distant but calm, as if life couldn't be better without you. But pay close attention. Avoidants are experts at masking discomfort with control. Their version of peace is often an emotional defense, an attempt to convince themselves they don't need anyone. The more they seem oddly composed, the more likely it is that underneath that calm exterior, they're wrestling with thoughts of you. Because if they truly didn't care, they wouldn't need to put on that performance. Their silence isn't about indifference, it's about protection. Second, watch for subtle reappearances. An avoidant who's waiting for you won't directly text you and say, "Hey, I miss you." That's far too vulnerable for them. Instead, they'll test the waters with quiet, indirect gestures. Maybe they suddenly view your stories, like an old post, or ask a mutual friend how you're doing. They might even send a random meme or a simple "hey" after weeks of distance, something casual enough to protect their pride, but meaningful enough to reopen the door. Avoidants don't approach through confession, they approach through testing. It's their way of saying, "I still care, but I'm scared to show it." So when they drop small breadcrumbs of communication, it's often their version of reaching out without losing control. Now, the third sign is what I call the emotional echo. You'll notice this one if you've had a deep connection with your avoidant partner before. After the distance begins, you'll start seeing little reflections of your presence in their behavior. Maybe they start revisiting songs you both loved, going to places you used to go together, or posting quotes about missing someone but needing space. Avoidants often process emotions indirectly. They don't talk about what they feel, they act it out in coded ways. That emotional echo means they're still bonded to you, even if their fear prevents them from expressing it openly. It's like they're whispering to you through their habits, hoping you'll notice the frequency they're sending from. Fourth, one of the strongest indicators an avoidant is waiting for you is their controlled silence. Now, don't confuse this with a total emotional shutdown. Controlled silence is different. It's calculated. They'll withdraw but not disappear. You might notice they're still checking your status, responding slowly but not cutting you off, or lingering in your digital space without making a move. This type of silence means they're leaving a door open. They're giving you space, but they're also creating a gap wide enough for you to cross. They're saying, "If you really care, come find me." It's a painful and unfair dynamic, but it's rooted in fear. Fear that if they reach out first, they'll lose power, or worse, face rejection. So they wait, hoping you'll make it safe for them to reconnect. Fifth, you'll feel their presence even in their absence. This is where energy speaks louder than words. When an avoidant still has feelings for you, it's as if their absence becomes charged with emotion. You'll find yourself thinking about them randomly, dreaming about them, or sensing a strange emotional pull. That's because emotional connections with avoidance don't just vanish, they hover. Their silence creates a tension that makes you feel like something unfinished is still breathing between you. And often that's intentional. Avoidants use emotional distance as a way to stay in control, but subconsciously, they also hope you'll feel their pull enough to chase it. When they leave gaps instead of closure, it's often because they want you to fill that silence. Sixth, they monitor you without engagement. An avoidant who has truly moved on cuts emotional ties completely. But one who's waiting for you, they'll quietly keep tabs. They might not comment or like your posts, but they'll watch. They'll notice when you seem happy or distant, when you post something romantic, or when you go quiet yourself. They won't show it, but they're observing. And when your silence lasts too long, that's when the tension begins to eat at them. It's like a chess game of emotional endurance. Who will move first? The avoidant is secretly hoping you'll blink first, because your outreach validates their worth without them having to risk rejection. Seventh, let's talk about their sudden emotional availability. Then retreat. This one confuses people the most. An avoidant who's waiting for you might randomly open up about something deep, like a personal struggle or a memory you shared. You'll think, wow, they're finally letting me in. But soon after, they pull away again. Why? Because that brief emotional openness was their subconscious testing how it feels to reconnect with you. When you respond warmly, it soothes their fear. But when that fear of vulnerability returns, they retreat again. The back and forth isn't manipulation. It's the internal battle of someone who wants love but doesn't know how to trust it. Eighth, their routine changes in subtle but meaningful ways. Avoidants are creatures of consistency. When they start altering their patterns, it usually means something's stirring emotionally. Maybe they stop frequenting a place that reminds them of you because it's too painful. Or maybe they start appearing around your social circle again. Either way, those changes are emotional signals. They're trying to regulate the discomfort of missing you while pretending they don't. But beneath that adjustment is a quiet hope that you'll notice. The irony is, their attempt to look unaffected often makes them more transparent to those who truly understand them. Ninth, listen for their indirect communication. Avoidants are masters of subtext. They might post something vague online, like, some people don't appreciate loyalty until it's gone, or message you about something trivial that somehow connects back to your shared history. These aren't random. They're coded messages wrapped in emotional safety. It's their version of reaching out without reaching out. They want you to decode it, to recognize that beneath the surface, they're thinking about you. It's not a game. It's their fear's translation of longing. 10th, they start mirroring your behavior. If you start pulling back, they'll pull back too. If you post something distant or confident, they might start posting similar energy. Avoidants often regulate connection through mirroring. It's their way of staying emotionally synchronized without admitting it. When they mirror you, it's a subconscious effort to stay connected while keeping emotional risk low. And sometimes that mirroring becomes their quiet confession. I still feel you, even if I can't say it. So what does all this mean for you? Should you reach out? Here's the truth. If an avoidant is waiting for you, it's not because they don't care. It's because they care too much and don't trust themselves with that level of emotion. But before you reach out, ask yourself one thing. Are you doing it from a place of love or from a place of anxiety? Because avoidants are drawn to calm energy. If you reach out to fix them or chase validation, they'll retreat. But if you reach out from self-assured peace, just a simple grounded, hey, hope you're doing well, it can disarm their fear. What they need most isn't grand gestures or emotional pressure. It's safety.